evening to you and welcome to your Wealth, the show that looks at all things money markets and investments. And I'm your host, Kudzar Muchenjiko. And today we're going to be talking about real estate in Zimbabwe. And I know most of you are going to be interested because this is a sector which I believe has attracted more investors in the previous years, and it has gained a significant growth, and this has brought in demand that is for residential, commercial and industrial properties. And today we're going to be getting more to understand what it is, the benefits, the challenges, what you need to do to invest in it. And in the studio, I'm joined by Benia Umwe, who is the executive chairman for Thurton Properties, and he's going to be the one explaining to us what we need to know about real estate in Zimbabwe. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. Very well. Good to have you here on your Wealth.
It's an absolute pleasure to be on the show.
Awesome. Let me get straight into my first question, Ben. How does large-scale residential development drive Zimbabwe's GDP growth and job creation?
All right. So property falls under what you call fixed capital investment. This is the wealth of the nation.
Okay.
Fixed capital investment. So most people, most families, the biggest investment they ever make in their life is owning a home.
Okay.
So even if you think about it from a personal point of view, the biggest asset you will probably have will be a home. So this is a really significant, the cornerstone of our GDP, the cornerstone of our wealth as a nation. So yes, property is very important in that regard, and it's one of the biggest contributors to the GDP.
All right. Now, talking about job creation, can you just elaborate more how it has that impact on job creation?
Okay, so property employs a lot of people, and even people without skills. So from your normal general laborer, almost anybody can work in construction, up to your very, very sophisticated engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, town planners. It's one of the easiest ways to create new employment. So every time you'll notice governments will be pushing for more fixed capital investment because it's very easy to employ people in construction, almost similar to farming.
Almost similar to farming. Interesting. That is very profound. Considering that when we look at other sectors, you need to have a certain skill for you to, be part of that sector. But now you've mentioned that in the real estate sector, anyone can actually be part of that sector, and that is part of job creation. So I think that is good. Now, moving on to my next question, what ripple effects do projects like 2267 Lifestyle Estate have on local suppliers, cement, steel, furniture, and professional services?
Okay, so the 2267 Lifestyle Estate has a significant impact on all of those sectors that you mentioned. Everything from cement manufacturing to furniture suppliers to it really touches on a whole lot of sectors. But for us at 2267 Lifestyle Estate, it creates a new type of high-end product that people have not been accustomed to in Zimbabwe. We're talking a property that is really of a world-class nature.
Okay.
We've had amazing partnerships with local companies like Kaya Cement. We've had amazing partnerships with local concrete manufacturers, like the name is just slipping my mind right now. But I mean, we've worked with the whole value chain.
Okay.
And once we've finished building a property, people then have to furnish those properties. So they go back again and they support local industry in terms of buying the furniture, the beds, and all of those other facilities.
Interesting. Now, in a high inflation environment, how is property performing as a hedge compared to other investments?
Well, property has performed exceptionally well. I think people have, this is part of where the demand comes in for property, because it's a really safe investment. It's bricks and mortar. It's unlike stocks on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, in which values can go up and come down. I think that since 1980s and Zimbabwe's independence, we've only seen property going one direction, which is up. And I believe that's going to continue. So if you have money and you want to preserve your wealth, I would certainly be advising to invest in property.
In property. Now, I'm just interested to know, can an ordinary person, invest in properties rather, or is something that is only pegged for those who have got wealth? Can an ordinary person, have that capacity to say, what, I can own a piece of land, I can own a property anywhere in Zimbabwe, or it's something that is out of their reach?
Absolutely. I think that anybody can invest in property. Anybody can get into the property sector. I think in Zimbabwe we are very fortunate, unlike countries like South Africa, for example. A lot of people are quite happy to live in a tin house in South Africa, to live in a shack. But the Zimbabwean knows the value of property. That is why you find people will go and they'll buy a stand, and it may take them 5 years, 10 years even in some instances, to build a house until it's completed. So, the property sector is available to everybody. Anybody can acquire a stand and start building bit by bit.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Bit by bit. All right. Now, many Zimbabweans abroad want to build wealth back home, but fear fraud or mismanagement of funds. How can you help in that area?
Okay, so I would be advising any person living in the diaspora who wants to invest in property in Zimbabwe to work with a recognized professional. There are property developers such as ourselves. We've done tours into the UK. We've done tours to America. We've been able to get a lot of investment back into Zimbabwe. I would just be advising people, don't rely on relatives, don't rely on brothers or sisters. Go and deal with a property professional.
All right.
And that way your investment will be guaranteed.
All right. Well, quite profound there. Don't rely on relatives or friends.
No.
Make sure you go to someone who is a professional. This is a word coming from Ben. So for those who are in the diaspora, this is something that you need to take note of. I think when we come back in the second segment, we'll talk more about, these diasporians, what they need to do, and etc. as they get to invest in property in Zimbabwe. Well, thank you very much, viewers, for joining us for the first segment rather. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the second segment of Your Wealth, and in the studio I'm joined by Ben Yaumwe, who's the Executive Chairperson for Thornton Properties, and today we're discussing about real estate in Zimbabwe. And we had an interesting conversation in the first segment where something that I really took note of is that if you want to invest, make sure that you deal with professionals, and I think this is something that we need to really work on as Zimbabweans. Now I want to continue with our conversation, Ben. Now, what safeguards or financing models can help diasporians invest with confidence?
All right. So like I said initially, work with property professionals. The Real Estate Institute of Zimbabwe licenses and registers professionals who you can work with, right? I mentioned it's not a wise idea to trust your Sekuru, to trust your Hama. Don't use relatives. Then on the financing models, a lot of the financial institutions in Zimbabwe are not giving you normal, typical mortgages. In other countries, people have access to 20-year mortgages, 10-year mortgages. And that's created a little bit of a gap for property developers like ourselves. So we are currently providing finance to the buyers. And we giving up to 7.5 years to repay. So if you buy a property from us today, you get the benefit of occupation. You can move it, you can live there, you can start collecting your rental even before you finish paying. So what we're finding is a lot of property developers are stepping into the space that traditionally the banks would be servicing.
Okay.
So those are some of the financing opportunities that there are.
All right. But I heard you talking about, banks no longer giving mortgages, etc. Are they mortgages or rent to buy products tailored for diasporans, clients, sending foreign currency?
Yeah, so this is what we've done. In our projects, we're giving people up to December of 2030
Okay.
to finish paying. And that's because the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe has confirmed that we will still have the use of the dollar until 2030.
All right.
So like I said, if you buy the property today, you have the ability to live in it, to lease it out, put it on Airbnb, and you can actually generate an income that will help you meet your repayments to us.
All right. Now, coming back to types of properties, which areas or property types currently give the best long-term value for overseas investors?
I would say residential. I think that we have seen our manufacturing sector decline slightly. Of course, there's a lot of new manufacturing coming up, and that is where industrial properties come in. And with more and more manufacturing happening overseas, where we are a net importer as opposed to being an exporter, the demand for industrial is a little bit more muted than residential, for example. And then also on the commercial properties, which is offices, etc. I think that you're going to find that there's a lot of growth in the sector that's called serviced offices. So people are finding that they can work from home and only pay for an office when you use it. This is very popular overseas with companies like Regis and Spaces, and you'd even know companies like WeWork. There's certainly a change in that regard. So for your normal, ordinary investor, I would still be saying residential. There will always be demand. As our population increases, as people get more wealth and more money, you're never going to go wrong with residential.
Go wrong with that. Now, this is something that just came to my mind, and I want to get your expertise on it. I've seen a lot of people now buying residential areas out of town rather than buying, in town. What could be the cause of that?
I think that you find that the property prices, the further out you go from the CBD, from the center, the more affordable they are. And people are investing now because they know that with the population growth and the expansion, those properties are going to become very valuable. So it's easy to get in now. Prices will still be low, but give it 5 years, 10 years, you'll find that the values have probably tripled in price.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about densification. Now this is a global trend. How is Zimbabwe balancing high density projects, with green space and community amenities?
Okay, so City of Harare has been very forthcoming in this regard. We know we've got the new enterprise corridor, formerly Enterprise Road, which is now Idim Nangagwa. If you look at the master plan, the local development plan that they did for that, it allows for exactly what you're asking, densification, and still there are requirements within the LDP that require you to have a certain level of green space and to balance your level of development. So it's not all going to be concrete. I think you'll see that with the local development plans that City of Harare has put in place, the development is going to be more sustainable. A nice balance between green and the new buildings. This is the same as well for the Avondale Local Development Plan, the Borrowdale Local Development Plan, and I know that they've just been working on a new master plan for the whole city of Harare.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, for putting that into clarity. And I believe our viewers, are really getting information they need in regards to how they can, proceed investing in real estate. So thank you so much. We'll take a short break and we'll be, continuing with our conversation. Well, there you have it, viewers. This was our second segment. We'll be back shortly with our third and final segment. Welcome back, viewers. It's now time for our final and third segment for your wealth. And today we're talking about real estate. And I believe if you're tuned in, you've managed to get some points which will help you to know where to invest and how to invest in property in Zimbabwe. Now, Mr. Band, let us continue with the conversation. And I just want to understand what regulations or incentives encourage developers to include renewable energy, water recycling, and smart home automation.
All right. I think that the solar, on the solar side, it's such a no-brainer.
Yeah.
To be able to harvest energy from the sun, God-given sun, is really a no-brainer. And I think you'll find that every developer, even every homeowner, is investing in solar right now. We know that we don't generate sufficient electricity in Zimbabwe, but all of us as citizens have a role to play, and we can contribute by putting in solar.
Okay.
On home automation, I think, you look at our lives now.
Right.
With the advent of AI, all the technology that's crept in, it's just the natural succession. It's the next normal step to take.
Okay.
So we've introduced a whole lot of home automation in our projects, and I think it's what modern clients are looking for right now.
Okay.
I think it's what you want. I think it's what your children want.
Exactly.
Let's roll with the technology.
All right. What innovative financing, crowdfunding, private sector partnerships could unlock more housing stock?
I think the rates are going to have a big impact. Those are real estate investment trusts. Recently, only 2-3 years ago, the legislation came into place to allow us to have real estate investment trusts. That's a form of crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, if you want to put it that way. It allows various investors, even with the minimum of $500, to be able to get into real estate.
Okay.
And there's a number of companies now that have put out a couple of rates, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that happening going forward. And that will definitely increase our supply of residential.
Okay, all right. And who's the real target market for premium lifestyle estates? Upper middle class, locals, corporate rentals, or returning diasporans?
Well, our kind of projects are really targeted at the high end. We try and do projects that are at a global scale, at a global standard. So they would be attractive for your diasporian investors. They would be attractive for your expatriates. And they would be attractive to your really high-end income earners. In our projects, we're always looking to move the needle, set a new benchmark. So unfortunately, we target the very high end. So if you've got money out there, come and talk to us, because we got the product.
You got the product. All right, now I just want to talk about how the impact that you guys have made in the real estate sector, and I believe, you've managed to get some awards. And I just want you to talk to us about it. What was it about? How did you manage to, get that award? And what steps are you now taking, in order for you to even get more awards in the real estate sector?
All right. So, Kudzai, this is something for Zimbabwe.
All right.
I think that for Thetan Property, we are very, very humbled to be invited to the House of Lords. You know, the House of Lords, that's the British Parliament.
Yeah.
That is where we are going to be receiving our award.
Okay.
And we've been recognized for excellence in property development. We've been recognized for excellence in architecture. And this is by a body that looks at the most elite projects around the world. And we've been able to get that recognition in Africa for Zimbabwe. So we are very, very humbled, very, very proud. This has really put us at a level where, you know, we are as good as the best that they are.
Okay.
We're as good as the Trump organization. We as good as the best, you know, the investor property funds, etc. Yeah, so we're very humbled. So we entered this competition, these annual awards.
Yeah.
We submitted our portfolio. It was quite a gruesome process. They want all your drawings, all your architectural drawings, engineering drawings, and a significant number of questions come out of that. They want to understand your sustainability goals, your green building methods that you're going to be using. And we probably worked on this for a good 3 months or so with our professional team. And yeah, and this is the result. We've actually created a product here that has been recognized globally, and we are very proud.
All right. Now, what is the future, you know, for Thornton Properties? What is the future looking like?
Oh my God, it's such an exciting future. I need sunglasses because it's so bright. I have to put on glasses. It's so bright. I can certainly tell you there'll be more in the hospitality sector. So our specialty is hotels, actually. We've built, owned, and operated 5-star hotels in Africa, in particular Radisson. So I can certainly tell you there's a Radisson project coming for us. There's another mixed-use development in the Highlands area that's coming. And again, also in terms of the future of work, we are going to be bringing in a space solution that, with a major international partner.
Right,
I think I gotta stop there. I can't say too much.
You can say, no, that's fine. That's all right. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for coming through and, you know, of course, sharing with us, you know, all these interesting things that you have in store for us as a nation for Zimbabwe. Now, before we leave, I just want you to give us your parting words. What do you want to say to the people who are, you know, watching, who are in the real estate sector, you know, who are saying, you know what, we also want to be where you are, and also those who want to invest? What do you want to say to them as we close off?
I think that we're only limited by our own minds. You know, if you can think of it, it's within your reach. I see a very bright future for Zimbabwe. I can see it, and that's what we're going to make sure manifests and happens. So don't limit yourself. If you can think it, if you can see it, it's within your reach.
It's within your reach. Well, thank you so much for those words, and you know, I hope to see you pretty soon, because I was always thinking, you know, we need something like Eastgate, you know, because this is one of the best buildings that we have in the city of Harare.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we probably need something like that, and I'm pretty sure it will be coming, you know, from you guys.
It's coming. It's coming.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming through to your Wealth.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it, viewers. This was your Wealth, and I'm Kudza Film Chinchukwa, hoping that you enjoyed each and every second that we are here with you. See you next week.